The question I became interested in is how old are children when they get diagnosed? Because we know, just generally speaking, earlier is better from the standpoint of identifying children, getting them diagnosed, and getting them involved with appropriate intervention. Because the good news about autism is that we know a fair amount about how to help kids improve in terms of their school performance, their behavior, their language, and social development. But it kind of all hinges on getting a diagnosis, because getting a diagnosis is like unlocking the door to the house of goodies where all the services are. So the way this works is that the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta funds 13 sites around the country to periodically gather information about children with developmental disabilities, including autism. And really the number one goal of that coordinated effort is to determine how many children in each study area meet the criteria for having an autism spectrum disorder. The number one question was, how old are children on average when they actually get a diagnosis of autism? Because again, we're gathering all this information about children who are 8 years old in 2002, and we're able to look back through their health and education records and determine the age at which they first got recognized as having an autism spectrum disorder. And what we found was kind of dismaying, to say the least, because we know, based on best practices, that a good clinician can reliably diagnose a child with autism, around age 2 or 3. We have that ability now to pretty reliably diagnose autism at that young age. However, what we found across these 13 sites was that the median age or average age of diagnosis among these 2,568 children was actually 5.7 years old. When a child gets a diagnosis of autism or some other developmental disorder, that is sort of a key that unlocks the door to obtaining services and intervention and treatments that are appropriate for that condition. But if they don't have a diagnosis, if they're not identified as being in need, then they're not going to be able to get access to those services. What do we know about what can help children with autism, and why is it important to begin intervention as early as possible? Well, think of it this way. We talk about developmental trajectories. So the idea is that a child's development unfolds over time, and if we can influence or nudge the direction of development at a young age, then the chances are that is going to pay off, that effect will multiply over time.